Welcome back to 16 weeks of SAT. And this week, or in this episode, we're going to be focusing on prepositions. And weirdly, prepositions are probably one of my favorite grammatical features to teach, as I always feel it's something that pupils can really get to grips with quite quickly, and it leads them into things like prepositional phrases really easily. So, as I've said, today we're going to be focusing on prepositions. First of all, just to always get this one in, if you enjoy these videos as a teacher or a pupil, even a parent, please make sure you subscribe to the channel. It really does help out. Even just making sure that you like this video helps promote it to other people as well. So please click those like buttons, click those subscribe buttons as well that you see at the end. Moving on, or moving back, we're going to move back to prepositions and what they're all about. Now, prepositions are words that help us understand moments in time and location. Okay, very simple. So if we just have those two concepts in mind of location, okay, so places, and then also time, moments in time, so before, after, locations, under, over, on, behind, whatever it may be. So really simple. And one of the key little tips that I always suggest to pupils is just looking at the word preposition, and in there you'll see the word position. Preposition. Really simple. And that's just a really simple clue to help you think, okay, what are prepositions again? Exactly. Positions in place and positions in time. And ultimately, if you can have that in mind, you're pretty much going to get yourself those marks for prepositions. So, without wasting any more time, let's take a look at some SATs examples. There's quite a lot of them to work through, so they're definitely worth knowing because the likelihood is you're going to get some questions on prepositions. So let's take a look at the SATs questions. So let's take a little bit of a look at prepositions. And again, the key bit that I always like to reference, and it's just my little personal take, is that if we can spot the concept or this word here of position, then we're really going to get a good, if we can remember this, then it's going to give us a really good chance with prepositions, because ultimately a preposition shows where something is or when something happens. So for me, that's a location in place and a location in time. Okay, so again, if we look at these examples here of under, in, and on, then these are all prepositions, but these three prepositions are shown as location. The dog is under the table. The kitten is in the box. The books are on the floor. Okay, very simple. And again, they're showing position. These ones, again, the fish was near the rocks. Again, a location. Okay, it was near the rocks. This one here before is more about time, sorry. So we've got, let's call this little guy Tim. Tim arrived at school before 8:30. Okay. Or Tim arrived at school before it was due to start. So before is the preposition telling us that basically Tim is early. And again, this one is location in place. You could have the bird flew above the clouds. So above is telling us the location of the bird in relation to the clouds. So very simple. And if we look at the example again, the boy sat under the tree by the pond. Okay. So we've got under acting as a preposition in this example. So with preposition questions, one thing there is to notice is that, again, they do tend to crop up a little bit later in the paper as if they're telling us that the examining board think that these are a little bit more difficult. But you've got to do a lot of work. Okay, look, circle the 4 prepositions in the sentence below to get the single mark. Okay, so we've got 4 circles to mark to get these right. So let's have a look at positions. So on a mountain bike, you can cycle across rocky ground, along muddy paths, and over harsh terrain. So very simple. If we're just thinking about location, we should very simply being able to see. So on a mountain bike, so we've got on, very simple. On a mountain bike, you can cycle across rocky ground. So again, this is giving us the location. We're going across something. along muddy paths, very simple, and over harsh terrain. So these four are very easily and obviously showing us location. Okay, and again, the key part that I always come back to is that we get a little bit stuck. The key little clue is that we're looking for words that help us gather more information about the position of whatever's happening in the sentence. Okay, so on, across, along, and over. 4 marks, 4 prepositions, 4 prepositions, 1 mark. And again, look really right towards the end of the paper, circle 3 prepositions in the sentence below. So we need all 3 for 1 mark. So again, we've got after the game. So again, hopefully you've spotted one straight away. Omar and Alicia walked home with their grandparents who lived across the road. So with this question, again, 2 should come out, it's fairly obvious, and then the third one may be a little bit trickier. So again, we've got after, I'm just going to go back to pen, after the game, Omar and Alicia walked home with their grandparents who lived across the road. So again, location. And then the final one, when we go to think about it, is with, okay? So they walked home with their grandparents. Again, so again, that's given us a very slight clue as to their location, similar to sort of next to, okay? So after the game, Omar and Alicia walked home with their grandparents who lived across the road. So 1, 2, 3 gets us the mark, and we can move on to the next question. And again, slightly different. Circle the preposition in each sentence below. So we've got 2 to circle to get the 1 mark. So Steph, again, key part, key little bit, if we just get the highlighter up, is remembering with prepositions, we want that position, okay? What's the position word in the question? So again, Steph trained hard. Steph trained hard before the hockey tournament. So hopefully that should jump out. So that's giving us a location in time. Okay, so it was before the hockey tournament. So that's the position. And then the second one, we have concentrating intensely. Emma hit the ball into the net. So again, there's the location. We have into, very simple, job done. Nice, nice. We get the mark, and we can move on to the next question. And once again, this is a good question type to spot, so we can see a pattern where we have these 2 sentences and we need to circle a preposition in each of the sentences below. So again, it's really good to be able to see that. So let's take a look again. Should be fairly obvious. The bird flew above the trees. So again, we've got, if we go back to it, very simple, we're looking for that position. Okay, so which words are giving us information about the position? So we have above the trees. Very simple. Second sentence, the children sang many songs in their concert. Fairly simple. In. Okay, and with this one, it's suggesting more of a location in time, I would suggest. Okay, so it's a little bit like during. The children sang many songs during their concert. Okay, so while the concert was happening, that's what in is saying. It was happening in the concert. So again, location in time, location in position, in location, giving us the position in both. Again, question 45, circle the 2 prepositions in the sentence below. Fairly simple. After playtime, you must stay inside the classroom until it is lunchtime. So again, we should be jumping out here and thinking after is a very obvious one in terms of time, and then inside is a very simple one in terms of location. Very simple, very effective, identifying positions in time and positions in location. And a further question type, we've got this one that you can see here, and then another one on the next slide. Which 2 sentences contain a preposition? So again, we need to tick 2 of these identified prepositions. So he walked really quickly. I don't think we've got anything there. The horse munched his hair happily. She ran around the games field. So again, we're just going to highlight it just so that we can see it, but that's not going to get us the mark. So we've got around, and then the old man walked past the door. Very simple. So those two are our marks. So we're going to tick those. That would get us the mark. We can move on to the next question. So another example of this question type, but this time we need 5 sentences, and we need to find 2 sentences which contain a preposition. So again, Kelly wrote a poem on Tuesday night. So again, we're going to see on, very obvious one, Tuesday night. She worked hard. She worked very hard all evening. Not sure there. Her mum read the poem before school. That's a very obvious one. So again, I'm just circling this just in my head. Me circling this is just for you, really, just to spot it, because we need to tick here. We need to tick in these boxes. But let's just check the last 2. Kelly's mum said it was excellent, and Kelly really enjoyed writing her poem. So again, we can be fairly confident at that point that we're correct. So we can tick those 2 and move on. If you had circled these here as well and then ticked, I would suggest that you go back, if you have your rubber, and you just rub them out, because the question really isn't asking you to do that. What it's asking you to do is to tick 2. So again, just for clarity, if you had circled as you were going, which is no problem with that, but we don't want to cause confusion for the markers, so we would definitely be rubbing that out and just leaving 2 clear ticks. And once again, just to finish off with, we just need to have a go at ourselves, where I've provided 6 sentences, all of which contain, I believe, 2 prepositions in each of the sentences. So really good practice for you to just pause the screen, have a little bit of a chat with the adults that you're working with, and can you spot the 6 prepositions? Sorry, not the 6 prepositions. Can you spot the pair of prepositions in each of the sentences? Welcome back and well done. So hopefully, as you remember me saying earlier in the video, prepositions are very straightforward once we get to grips with them. And I'm pretty sure from your teaching in school that you'll have already had a good idea of what prepositions are, especially when it comes to your writing. But just being able to see all those question types back to back does help us get that confidence to think, actually, preposition questions are pretty straightforward. I know what they are. Now I know what those questions look like. I'm feeling pretty confident about answering those questions in the SATs paper. And again, with prepositions, it's all about remembering that moment in time and that moment in location, or locations and time. And ultimately, again, the little tip is, in the word preposition, we have the word position, which is a big clue helping us to remember what prepositions are all about. So once again, thanks for watching the 16 weeks of SATs videos. I hope they've been useful. I know lots of you are watching them during lessons in school, after school, in preparation for SATs, even at home. So well done. Keep working hard towards your SATs. And by doing little bits of work like that, actually, the SATs aren't that difficult. Okay, they're pretty straightforward, and they're only testing you on things that you know already. Okay, so keep working hard, and I'll see you all in the next episode of 16 Weeks of SATs.